Okay, sorry, I got cut off there, my last video. But we're going to cluster this. Now, this may be a little different than what I said and what I thought here. Kind of, if it is, it's kind of interesting, and I'm not 100% sure of this, so a little bit sketchy here. But let me explain what I'm talking about. So if I look at this object, it's a distance object, so it's not really, it's like a special, it's a special class that R has that we're using. It's not really a matrix, it's not other things, it's just a special thing. So it's probably a list of some sort, actually. In fact, well, actually, it's not a list. I just checked it. But anyway, so to get a little better understanding of it, I can do this, though. I can do this. So make it into a matrix. And then get a little better understanding of it. Now, as a matrix, I can look at the first 5 rows and the first 5 columns. And this is what I get. Now, let me go back to the definition of it. So here's the definition of it. So it's a distance matrix. So in other words, it's got the distances between different things. So let's look at it again here. So you can see, what is it? It's the distance between the word action and the word adventure, the distance between the word action and the word alive, the distance between the word action and the word alone. Of course, the distance between the word action and action. Remember how we're calculating distances. Don't get lost. Remember, we can talk about distances between objects, right? Just like we talked about distances between the years. So here we're doing something similar. So of course the distance between action and action is 0. Distance between adventure and adventure is 0. Distance between alive and alive is 0. But the distance between alive and alone is whatever this number, 21 and something, right? So this is a distance matrix. So now I may have misstated it. Maybe he's clustering this, which is a kind of interesting idea. Let's look at it again. So here he's clustering this, right? Pam is the clustering function. So he's clustering this. So that's kind of interesting. The implication is, so we're looking at, when we cluster, we're always clustering rows. Let me say that now. The algorithms always cluster the rows. So if whatever you want to be clustering, you have to make them the rows. So sometimes you have to take the transpose of what you have to get what you want to cluster. So here we're clustering these rows. Now actually these rows turn out to be exactly the same as the columns, but that's just something that's not necessary. And in any case, this is what we're clustering, these rows. And what we're doing is we're wondering, how close are these, can we find groups of rows? In other words, we said before, groups of points. Here it's actually groups of words, right? So what does it mean for two words to be close to each other? It means that as we look across here, they have similar numbers. Not the same numbers, but similar numbers. So if alive and alone are going to be in the same group, it means that as we look across, we should get similar numbers. And what does that mean, though, that they're going to be similar? It means that their distance to the other words is close. In other words, the closeness of alive to the other words has the same pattern as alone does to the other words. So that's a kind of interesting concept, and I think it works, actually. And it's saying that two words are similar if they are basically their pattern of similarity, or their distances from the other words, are similar. I'm kind of using it too many times in a sentence, but I hope you get the meaning there. So that's a pretty cool idea, and I guess that's what he's doing, because, as I said, he is clustering this words distance object. Now I did one thing to it beforehand. I made it into a matrix, but that was so that I could sort of view it. But I suppose it's really the same thing, and anyway, that is what he's clustering. So I'm pretty sure that this is what he's clustering. Anyway, finally, he's trying to find groups of words that are similar. How he defines similar is what I'm talking about right now. But in a more general sense, he's just looking for groups of words that are similar. So then so like I said, he does this, clusters them. Now he stores it in here, and now he takes a summary of that and he prints it. So here's what we get. Remember that we were clustering with 5 groups. So what we get is, we get 5 groups here. And let's see if we can see that. So here's the big list of words that we had. And action belongs to group 1. Adventure belongs to group 2. Alive belongs to group 1. Alone belongs to group 1. Always belongs to group 3. America belongs to group 1, and so on. And it also gives it to you this way, I believe. Some of this stuff is probably about how good the clustering is, but we're not going to worry about that. So here's another presentation of the same thing. First, we're listing all the words that have been put into group 1, cluster number 1. And I don't know what neighbor means, actually. Group 1, group 1, group 2. Okay, now these are the words that are being put into group 2. And then these are the words that are being put into group 3. And then 4 and 5. So group 4 and 5 are very small. 4 and 5. Okay? So that's what we got. Now, also, remember that we talk about the center, right? The center of the group, like here. We talked about the centers of the groups. Well, this wasn't a good picture, but like these are the centers, right? So groups have centers, and what we get here is the centers. Now we can sort of force the center to be at the closest point, but actually on a point, not here. Maybe the center is not actually a point, but we could say, well, it has to be an actual dot. So choose the closest dot. So maybe this is the closest dot here to the center. So we'll say this is the center, and maybe this is the closest dot to this one. So we'll say this is the center. So anyway, we can force the dots to be, the center to be on a dot. So if we do that, then the centers of each group are certain words. And for group 1, it's head. For group 2, it's dark. For group 3, it's truth. For group 4, it's life. For group 5, it's never. Okay? So we have that much so far, and that is what we've gotten up to now on line 468. Okay, now we're going to still have more to do. So let me continue in another video.